Русский? Советский.
Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of Ushanka Show, stories about life in the Soviet Union. Говорит и показывает Michigan. В эфире программа Ushanka Show. And today's video, I'm gonna start with a question to my audience. Dear comrades, what do you think my hometown of Kiev is famous for? And if you replied, of course, it's Chicken Kiev, I'm sorry, but you're not correct. Back in the Soviet days, Kiev was well known and famous for its Kiyvskiy Tort, the Kiev cake.
Торт. Ну, я на праздники собираюсь в гости в Москву, но в гости без киевского торта меня просто не пустят в Москву.
This cake, or as we say in Russian, tort, was produced at the Karl Marx confectionery factory in Kiev. This factory is one of the oldest factories in Kiev. It was opened in 1886, and of course back then it didn't carry the name of Karl Marx. It carried the name of its owner, Valentin Yefimov Candy Factory. In 1923 it was nationalized, and the name of Karl Marx was chosen. It remained Karl Marx Candy Factory till 1996, when a new candy company called Roshen purchased it, and Roshen is the company that belongs to Pavlo Poroshenko, who later became the president of Ukraine. Kiyvskiy Tort was invented or introduced in 1956 at the Karl Marx Candy Factory and became an instant hit, and it became a deficit. There were always long lines if the Kiyvskiy Tort is for sale, and generally it was only available in Kiev. The price was 3 rubles 60 kopecks per cake, so the same as a half of liter of bottle of vodka. And just to give you a comparison, so an average Soviet worker could purchase 42 cakes at his salary of 150 rubles a month. So if you take home $2,000 here in America, that means you'll pay $71 per cake. This is how high prices were in the Soviet Union. $71 for one cake. Personally, I didn't like that cake. I actually remember there was someone's birthday and they told me like, hey, we're gonna have a Kiyvskiy Tort for dessert, and I was so excited to try it. But when I had a slice, it was just a lot of crunches in it, and it just wasn't my kind of candy. I prefer cakes when they're kind of smooth, chocolatey ones. But most people found it delicious, and that was kind of the thing to do. If you ever visit Kiev, you come home, bring in a couple of Kiyvskiy Tort, or if you come from Kiev to visit your relatives in Moscow or anywhere else, it was a good thing to bring a couple of torts with you. That was like the best present you can bring from Kiev. But here's why I decided to make a story about Kiyvskiy Tort. A couple of days ago, I talked to my mom. She's now in Kiev, and she has access to smartphone and Telegram app, so we can talk like FaceTime each other. And she told me something interesting about my uncle Misha. If you follow my channel, you may remember the story about my uncle. So that's my mother's older brother, who became an artist. As a young kid, he showed incredible skill of making sketches, and he ended up going to college in Kiev, and he graduated as художник, so he was like industrial artist. So in our conversation, we kind of started talking about Misha. She mentioned, by the way, do you know that your uncle designed the cover of the box for Kiyvskiy Tort? And I was like, what? Yeah, she said, one time I came to visit him and his wife, and he has this drawing set up on the opposite wall of the room, and he asked me to look at it and tell me if it looks good. And it was a design of chestnut leaves and the words Kiyvskiy Tort. And he asked my mom, did she think it was a good looking design? And my mom said, I like it. And apparently managers at the Karl Marx Candy Factory like design as well. So it became the design of the box for the Kiyvskiy Tort. And my uncle actually got a bonus of 45 rubles. So it's a pretty good chunk of cash back then. So it's a 50% of your monthly salary. Of course, there was no capitalist royalties like it will be here in America, because definitely my uncle will be a millionaire by now. He passed away quite a few years ago, but yeah, Kiyvskiy Tort design is made by my uncle, Mikhail. So yeah, I was quite shocked because I knew about Kiyvskiy Tort for all my life. I knew kind of familiar with design, but I never knew that was my uncle who designed the picture. So that's pretty neat. And Kiyvskiy Tort, Kiyevskiy cake is still being manufactured in Kiev, as well as other confectionery factories. Maybe they license them to other former Soviet republics. And what's interesting, that originally they were using I think was cashews from India, because at that time Soviet Union traded with India, but there was like a barter. We send you weapons, you send us black tea and cashews. So Soviet government was looking the way to get rid of cashews, and that's why they designed the Kiyvskiy Tort in the first place. So I thought it was a cool story to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like it, share with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon. До побачення, goodbye.